working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Nea Mangawang, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. Thailand celebrates the successful mission to free 12 boys and their football coach trapped in a cave for several days. President Rodrigo Duterte says he will not step down because it will make Vice President Leni Robredo the next president, whom he said is incompetent to lead the country. And Hanoi beat Ho Chi Minh City to host the 31st edition of the SEA Games, a 17-day event that is expected to attract 16,000 participants. All 12 boys from the Wild War football team are now free, according to reports on the ground. The final boy emerged into the daylight at around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, local time. The coach is understood to also have left the cave. Behind them are a doctor and several Thai Navy SEALs. The 11th boy came to the surface at 5:15 p.m. local time, the 10th at around 4:30 p.m., and the 9th just 9 minutes earlier at 4:06 p.m. The 12 boys and their coach ventured into the cave on June 23rd after football practice and got caught deep inside when heavy rains caused flooding that trapped them on a muddy ledge. They spent 9 harrowing days trapped in darkness until 2 British divers found them. Authorities then struggled to devise a safe plan to get them out, mulling ideas such as drilling holes into the mountain or waiting months until monsoon rains ended and they could walk out. With oxygen levels in their chamber falling to dangerous levels and complete flooding of the cave system possible, rescuers pushed ahead with the least worst option of having divers escort them out through the extremely narrow and water-filled tunnels. The ups and downs of the rescue bid has entranced Thailand and also fixated a global audience, drawing support from celebrities as varied as U.S. President Donald Trump, football star Lionel Messi, and tech guru Elon Musk. The emergence of the second batch of 4 boys on Monday evening was greeted with a simple huya by the SEAL team on their Facebook page, an exclamation that lit up Thai social media. Positive medical reports on the rescued group further fueled the sense of joy and optimism. However, the boys will remain in quarantine until doctors were sure they had not contracted any infections from inside the cave. Experts warn that drinking contaminated water or otherwise being exposed to bird or bat droppings in the cave could lead to dangerous infections. But the early signs on the initial 8 were promising, with x-rays and blood tests showing just 2 had signs of pneumonia and that they were in a normal state after taking antibiotics. Thailand celebrated the successful mission to free 12 boys and their football coach from a cave Wednesday, with the nation heaping praise on the rescue team as the triumphant tagline "Huya" pinballed across social media. The nerve-shredding 3-day mission ended on Tuesday with a final group of 4 boys and the coach emerging from the cave, which had held them captive for 18 days. The rescue received blanket coverage in Thai media, with newspapers, the nation running a Huya mission accomplished, and the Bangkok Post emblazoned with all wild boars saved. Their ordeal gripped the world, with the lives of the 12 boys aged 11 to 16 and their 25-year-old coach hanging the balance as the threat of heavy rain injected urgency to an already perilous extraction bid. Rescuers had weighed up several options to save the boys, including keeping them in the cave through the months-long monsoon season. But they were prodded into the dangerous task of diving out the team through submerged chambers and claustrophobic passages as oxygen levels in the cave plummeted and rains menaced. The group were led out in 3 batches by a team of 13 international divers flanked by the Thai Navy SEALs, who greeted each successful rescue with a huya on their Facebook page. That sign-off quickly turned into a hashtag shared across social media, where luminaries of business, politics, and sport extended their best wishes to the team and the rescuers. Relatives of two of the boys trapped in Thai cave expressed gratitude to authorities and other parties who participated in the successful rescue effort. Take a look.
More.
How many of you? They're all
อยากจะขอบคุณรัฐบาลและเจ้าหน้าที่ทุกฝ่ายหรือชลประทานหรือกรมไฟฟ้าหรือกรมทางหลวงเจ้าหน้าที่ตำรวจทหารที่ช่วยและก็หน่วยชิวต่างประเทศหรือในประเทศขอบคุณครับ
ตื่นมากี่โมงก็เช็คว่าเป็นยังไงบ้างแต่วันนี้มีความสุขที่สุดแล้วแต่มันยังไม่สุดเพราะว่าต้องรอให้ทุกคนภารกิจเสร็จสิ้นแล้วก็กลับถึงบ้านด้วยความสวัสดิภาพปลอดภัยทุกคน
President Rodrigo Duterte has offered to send a team to help in rescue and rehabilitation efforts in Japan, which was hit by widespread floods and landslides. Presidential spokesperson Adi Roque made the announcement after an almost 9-hour cabinet meeting that lasted until 1 a.m. Tuesday. Roque said Duterte has offered to send Filipino soldiers, including engineers and doctors, to Japan. Roque also announced through his Twitter account that President Duterte will also send medicines to Japan. More than 100 people have been reported dead after flash floods and landslides triggered by torrential rains hit western Japan. Reports also said that more than 60 people remained missing, while thousands of houses were damaged due to the floods caused by rains that started late last week. Japan was among many countries that extended relief assistance, as well as troops and medical teams in November 2013 when Super Typhoon Haiyan slammed the Visayas region. Typhoon Haiyan, locally known as Yolanda, is one of the strongest typhoons recorded in history. It has left more than 6,000 people dead as it caused a storm surge that flattened thousands of homes and even buildings in Leyte. Meanwhile, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management, ACDM, and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, or IFRC, officially launched a new report on ASEAN disaster law mapping, implementing AADMER, a regional stock take, on May 2 in Jakarta, Indonesia. The report contains a groundbreaking analysis of the legal provisions supporting national and regional preparedness and response mechanisms in the domestic laws of 10 ASEAN member states. The legal mapping was guided by the minimum standards set in the ASEAN Agreement on Disaster Management and Emergency Response, or AADMER. It is accompanied by an online platform hosted on the Red Cross and Red Crescent Resilience Library. Mr. Vilaifong Sisomvang, Deputy Director General of the Lao Ministry of Labor, spoke on behalf of the ACDM Prevention and Mitigation Working Group and explained how pleased he was to see the strong collaboration between ASEAN member states, the ASEAN Secretariat, and the IFRC on this initiative. Mr. Sisomyang encouraged participating agencies to use the mapping as a basis for cross-regional learning to strengthen legal preparedness and response for future disasters in the region. During the event, the Government of Canada representative Ms. Sharon Armstrong, Director for Development of the Embassy of Canada to Indonesia and ASEAN, emphasized the importance of strong disaster laws in resilience building. ASEAN in Focus will be right back. Please stay with us.
Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Welcome back. President Rodrigo Duterte said he wanted to step down even before 2019 because he was already very tired and wanted a transition president to be elected as the country moves towards a federal government. This was what the president said at the start of Monday night's cabinet meeting, where he stressed the need for a transition leader that will guide the country during the transition period to a federal presidential form of government. In a noontime palace briefing the same day, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said that Duterte was willing to lead the transition to federalism as long as it was within the end of his term in 2022. However, Roque said that Duterte apparently changed his mind and would rather cut his term as early as 2019 to be coterminous with the start of the transition period to erase all suspicions about his desire to stay in power beyond the end of his term in 2022.
Confirmed that the President, of course, received already yesterday afternoon from the Consultative Committee the draft constitution that will usher in the country's shift from unitary to federal system of government. And he wants someone younger to be elected by the people to serve as a transition leader. Ang sabi po niya, yan ang kanyang proposal unang-una para mawala yung suspecha na meron siyang ibang binabalak para dito sa charter change. At pangalawa, dahil siya'y pagod na. He said he was very tired, he is old, and siguro itong electing a transition leader would enable a younger leader to take over.
Bakit pagod na siya, Secretary?
Hindi naman niya sinabi, no? Basta ang sinabi lang niya is nais niyang manilbihan hanggang maaprubahan ang bagong saligang batas at mukhang ang kanyang assumption ay magkakaroon ng plebisito itong 2019. Well, medyo na-shock siguro yung gabinete kasi parang this is the first time na nagsalita talaga ang presidente na ayaw na niya, no? Beyond 2019. No? So ako mismo nalungkot ako, no? Dahil parang definite statement na yon na magbibigay na siya sa isang mas bata.
Roque meanwhile pointed out that it was still up to the Congress to include the provision on the new transition leader in the draft federal constitution. President Rodrigo Duterte said he will not step down because it will make Vice President Leni Robredo the next president of the country. Take a listen.
Look, I will not resign because it will make her president. My resignation is addressed to the people na para makapili sila ng gusto nila. Siya, I don't think she can ever be ready to govern a country. Reason? Incompetence.
Sir, can you elaborate lang po dun sa idea ng incompetence?
Yeah, but she's not capable of running a country like this. Philippines?
Duterte said he preferred to hold general elections to determine the transition leader who will head the proposed shift to a federal system of government.
I would like the Filipino to choose a new leader, lalo na it is a new structure. And I have been an official of the structure of type of government which has been since time immemorial unitary. Baka manghibago sila sa akin at sanay naman ako ng unitary, they might want to get an experience official or tao who would have the competence and the enterprise to form a government structured for the federal type of government.
Duterte said his suggestion to the Consultative Committee or CONCOM and to Congress as well is to revise the transitory provisions of the CONCOM proposed federal constitution to prove his critics wrong that he wanted to stay in power beyond 2022.
they can amend and make it a provision there that I will be coterminous with the effectivity of the Constitution, federal type. Once it is implemented, they can, I said, provide a provision that the office of the President shall be declared vacant, but you have to call for an election.
The president believes his critics are the ones who are hungry for power and wanted to be a dictator.
Yan ang magiging diktador, yan ang gusto ng gano'n. Yan mga nagsisigaw ng diktador, yan ang mga taong may ambisyon. Wala nang ginawa kung hindi they invent malice in their minds. Or better still, I will invite them here to resign with me. Or not really to resign, but to agree to being, hindi naman dismissed, but to cease being president and vice president.
We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
Hello, my name is Samantha Suarez, and I'm reporting here from Gainesville, Florida. Behind me is the Florida Museum of Natural History, home to a butterfly rainforest featuring hundreds of butterflies from across the world. Do you know another place that has sights from across the world? Well, check out Digital Nest on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. And I'm 1 with 25.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave some love by giving it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe here at ABC Digital Nest so you don't miss any of our upcoming features.
Welcome back. No less than President Rodrigo Duterte will cheer for Filipino boxing icon Senator Manny Pacquiao when he steps into the boxing ring against Argentine Lucas Matisse in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on July 15. Presidential spokesperson Adi Roque on Tuesday confirmed that Duterte will watch the Pacquiao-Matisse title fight before his meeting with newly elected Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad on July 16. Roque said before a phone conversation between Duterte and Mahathir on Monday night, Duterte has already planned a private trip to Kuala Lumpur to watch Pacquiao's fight. Roque said Mahathir wanted to discuss with Duterte the issues of insurgency and ISIS in the Southeast Asian region. Duterte has also congratulated the 92-year-old Mahathir for his resounding victory in the May elections, according to a presidential news desk report. It added that Duterte has assured the Malaysian leader that the Philippines will remain a staunch ally of Malaysia in the area of security, particularly in tackling Islamic extremism and piracy in the high seas. Pacquiao and Matisse will fight it out for the World Boxing Association or WBA welterweight title at the 16,000-seater Ashata Arena. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese capital city Hanoi beat Ho Chi Minh City to host the 31st edition of the SEA Games, a 17-day event that expected to attract 16,000 participants. Hanoi got the Prime Minister's nod, chosen ahead of Ho Chi Minh City by virtue of its proposal costing much less and its existing infrastructure and previous experience in hosting several huge sporting events. The event will take place between October and December in 2021. The decision on Hanoi came after the SEA Games Federation informed it would hand over hosting rights for the 31st edition of the SEA Games to Vietnam because Cambodia, the original host, said it was not ready yet. Vietnam was originally scheduled to host the 32nd edition of the biennial event in 2023. The Ministry of Sports, Culture and Tourism said Hanoi meets all the requirements of infrastructure and human sources to organize the large-scale event and has previous experience having hosted the Games in 2003. Meanwhile, the upcoming edition of SEA Games will take place in Metro Manila, the Philippines in 2019. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Nea Mangawang, always one with 25.
Ako po si Chairman Balmusina, bumabati sa ika-50 taong anibersaryo ng Eagle Broadcasting. Naipararating nyo sa mamamayan ang mga inyong adhikain. Naipararating nyo ang mga magaganda nyong programa para sa mamamayan. Sana po ipagpatuloy nyo ang inyong pagtulong, pagsuporta hindi lamang sa mamamayan kung hindi sa ating pamahalaan. At mabuhay ang Eagle Broadcasting.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.